Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Reavyne and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to another Raven's Ramble / Possible Heroes video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the up and coming samurai hero that we're going to be getting with the massive two-handed axe. Now, I already did a video on the Viking hero, what I'm expecting with that and what I'd like to see. So I thought, let's go through all the heroes and we'll do one on the samurai. And I came up with a pretty cool premise for this guy. He has a massive two-handed axe. Axes are very, very good at cutting things in half. They make things bleed a lot, so I thought I would center the hero around bleeding, because we don't have a heavy hero yet that does a lot of bleeding. So, cool premise, but I'm like, what am I going to call this guy? I'm not good with Japanese names, okay? Now that we have the Black Prior, we can, give people multiple stuff in their titles and their names. So instead of just, the Orochi, Peacekeeper, Lawbringer, Tiandi, which is all one name stuff, we can go with two, because we have Black Prior. So I thought I'd go with, the Ketsueki mūn, okay? Now that's the Japanese version of that. Sorry for butchering that, but it essentially translates to the blood moon. So like always with this video, we're going to be talking about the weapon first, so let's go over that. And we already know what the weapon is because they showed the picture of it. It's up on screen right now. It is a giant two-handed monstrosity of an axe thing, okay? Now this thing right here never existed in terms of what the samurai used. Now, the samurai did use an axe, and that thing was called an ono, okay? Probably butchered that, but it was basically an axe or a hatchet. Right here on Wikipedia, it says the ono or masakari is a Japanese word for an axe or a hatchet and is used to describe various tools or of similar structure, okay? Apparently, there was a dude who did rock around and use that, or like a type of people. I don't know. They did use an axe, but it was nothing like this. This is purely the devs taking, license to do whatever the fuck they want with their own game and just putting in this really fucking cool axe thing. But it looks great, and I cannot wait to see the variations for this. I want to see some crazy shit with this axe. They've already gone out of the realms of realism. Let's be honest, realism in the game, I've said it a million times, it's dead, so we don't need to worry about that. But yeah, the fact that they just made this axe up out of nowhere means that they can do whatever the fuck they want with it when it comes to the different types of axes we'll get, different looks, different styles. I want them to go all out on that shit. But with the weapon out of the way, let's move over to what I want this guy to look like now. I want him to look like a massive heavy demon guy. So, I pictured this thing. I've got the blood moon. All right, he's just this massive dude with this massive two-handed fucking axe. He's going to be centered around making people just bleed as he just fucking cuts through everyone. Axes are great for like breaking through shit. Let's be honest here. So I wanted the armor to actually represent what this guy is. He's essentially like a blood demon, what I got in my head. So I want him to have this big, bulky armor. He's a heavy, for Christ's sake. I want the heavies to look fucking heavy. But I still want him to keep that samurai theme. So I want him to have this massive samurai style armor, but I want him to just look big. I want him to look bulky, but still keep that elegance that the samurai have. Right now, all the samurai, they're either really played down, like you got the Nabushi, where she's got a little bit of armor here and there. They got lots of cloth and stuff, but they're not that armored until you get like your new Orochi skins. But even then, he's armored, but he still looks very sleek, very, very sleek and stylish. I want something more representative of a demon. I want something a little bit more style, but also brutality, that raw demonic dark side of like, what I represent with this character. So the armor is going to reflect that. It's going to be big, it's going to be bulky, it's going to still have like, some cloth pieces and stuff to it, some fur pieces to it, but it's going to make the guy look like a demon. Now we've got several things like that with the Shigoki. He's got like, the whole Oni demon thing going on there, but I want to really lean into that and make the armor match it, not so much just the mask. I think it's about time this samurai got someone who literally looks like he's just going to rock onto the battlefield and he's a demon from your nightmares who's going to basically cut everything in half. He's going to cut you in half, and as like half of your body is flying through the air, he's going to cut that piece in half, and then everyone else is just going to shit their pants. And the really cool thing about keeping, the cloth and stuff intertwined with the heavier armor is that you can put a whole bunch of your normal, like, Japanese designs and everything on the cloth, which will be really, really cool. The Ubisoft is amazing at doing that. They do that a lot with the Wulin, where they have like the intricate cloth designs, even with the samurai. Same sort of thing. They're amazing at putting these awesome looking designs onto the cloth pieces, and you could do the armor in a way where it won't take away from the fact that he's this big massive dude with this really scary looking armor, but it will, like, add to it. It'll add little bits and pieces of elegance here and there while the dude's like, cutting everything to bits. That's one thing I really like about the samurai, is the fact that they have that elegance to them, at the same time as having that arrogance to them, okay? So it's like this sort of dual thing that they got going on there, where even when they're being all arrogant and cocky and like, you know, I'm awesome at sword fighting and everything, they're still humble in how they do it, and you can make the armor reflect that, which is awesome. Plus, let's put some spikes on some shit. Why not? Spikes, man. Come on, it's a 4-order thing. Everyone likes spikes. So that is the weapon. We know he's going to have a massive two-handed axe. The styles you can do there, you can do whatever you want. It's a made-up weapon. It's going to be fucking awesome. Armor-wise, once again, I want it heavy. I want cloth intertwined in between there. I want him to look like a goddamn fucking demon that's coming to take your soul. Nightmare incarnate from the Japanese realm. But now let's get into his moveset. Now, once again, everything I'm going to be doing with this character is going to be revolving around bleeds in some way. Because we don't have a heavy character that, like, you know, heavily leans into bleeds or has bleeds pretty much at all. So I think it's about time. Now, of course, he's going to have, you know, light attacks. He's going to have heavy attacks. I always have to do this caveat because people go in the comment section and they freak the fuck out. Everything I'm about to say comes down to balance. It all can work perfectly fine. We have some absolutely crazy shit in the game. Black Prior's fucking flip and hit thing. That is insane. You can balance it so it makes sense, okay? Everything, percentage-wise, damage-wise, all that comes to balance later. This is the foreground for the ideas. But we're going to be kicking this off with a couple of passives that I want the character to have. The first one is going to be called the Bleeding Blossom. Now, the way this works is every second heavy attack, every hyper armor heavy attack, and every second light attack will cause bleed damage to the target if the enemy blocks the attack. Now, of course, the amount of damage you take from the attack will depend on what you get hit by. If you're hit by that second light attack, it's going to be far less damage than the second heavy attack and the hyper armor heavy attack. Now keep in mind, it's only when you block stuff, okay? So once again, this is trying to just kill that defensive meta. We're getting there. We're getting there slowly, okay? Like I did with the Viking hero that I talked about, I want to see like an unblockable attack that you can't parry. So that way it forces you to dodge. This one, you either have to dodge or you have to parry, because if you go blocking stuff and just turtle up and just sit there doing that, you're gonna start bleeding to death. And of course, bleeds will be able to kill you if you cop it enough. And there's a variety there. It's not on every single attack, okay? It's every second heavy, every hyper armor heavy, and of course, every second light attack will cause the bleed damage when you block it. But that is the first passive. The second passive is trying to kill another thing that is prevalent in the game, and that is people running away like bitches. We all know that happens a lot, and this might be a personal peeve, but it fucking infuriates me when people do that. So this next passive is called the Crimson King. So the Blood Moon will deal extra damage to targets who are already bleeding. Now that's already in the game. The Nambushi has that, but I thought it'd be a really cool thing to add to this guy because it fits his theme. But the addition here is that the Blood Moon will get a speed boost when chasing enemies that are bleeding. So say you basically hit a guy, he blocks a bunch, he's now bleeding, and then he goes, oh, I'm gonna run, okay, and he turns around and starts running. You'll be able to catch him, or you should be able to, you know, over the course of running for a little bit, catch up to him and force him back into a fight. Now keep in mind though, if he's running away and the bleed runs out before you get to him, you will lose that buff. It's not going to stay around like, you know, forever. As long as you're running next to someone or at someone who's bleeding, then you'll be able to get this speed boost. That should help you keep people in the fight, should help you get to fights faster. If say there's a peacekeeper over there and you know you need to help a teammate, she bleeds the guy, you'll be able to get there faster. And of course, before people flip their shit in the comment section, once again, the amount that it gets sped up by, that's all balancing that comes later. But that is the Bleeding Blossom, and that is the Crimson King passives. Now we're moving on to the next thing, and this is that the Blood Moon can charge up his heavy attacks like Shigoki, like Centurion. So if you start charging up a heavy attack during the startup, and while you're charging it, you know, if you get to that end point where you're about to throw it out, you can't do this. But during that phase, just like Shigoki can keep going, charge, 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 go for a hug. In this one, you're going to charge it up, and then if you hit a light attack, you're going to basically go into a bleed attack. Now keep in mind that when you soft feint this heavy into a bleed attack, it's going to count as a light because you're hitting a light, so you throw it down. So if the target blocks it, they're not going to bleed from blocking it, they're only going to bleed if it actually hits them. Now of course, if you do this, they block it, then you follow up with another light attack, and of course they block that one, then of course they're going to bleed because they block the second light, and it counts as a chain. And of course, he's going to have all his chains and everything like that, because of course he's going to have the Bleeding Blossom passive, so he's going to have a lot of chains, so that way you can get, you know, the second, you know, attack in each chain and so on and so forth in order to lay down the bleed damage. But this will add a mind game factor to him, just like, you know, when Raider, you go for your heavy and then you switch into the top light attack. This one, you can pretty much do it from any direction you want. We're not setting it to like, you know, a certain direction. So if I'm charging up from the heavy and then I go light attack to cancel it into that soft faint bleed, it'll basically come from the opposite direction if I want, or the top, or I can even do it from the same direction. You get to pick your poison. And that should help add some mind games to it, so it's not just, you know, oh, I'm going to hit from this way, then I'm going to, I fainted it, trick joke, okay, I'm going to hit from this way now. It will add some depth to his gameplay. And now we're going to go over the last move for this guy that's, you know, going to be this like big unique thing for him. And this I call the Circle of Blood. And this move is going to look really fucking cool, and it's also going to just be awesome. So the Blood Moon can hit a light attack and heavy attack at the exact same time to do a massive spinning heavy attack that goes all the way around him, and every single person that he hits, he'll basically cause them to bleed. And this thing here will count as a heavy, so the actual attack itself, the Circle of Blood attack, will do two different things depending on what you do. So if you just basically hit the heavy and light attack together, you'll spin around, you'll do this thing. Okay, so basically he's coming down and he's basically spinning around and whoomp, goes around, cuts everyone. Now, if you just do the heavy and light attack to just do it on the spot, you will hit everyone and cause them to bleed only if they don't block it. Now, if you go for a heavy attack and then do it, you'll spin around. That will count as the second heavy in that chain, and then every single person who blocks it will take bleed damage, but if they didn't block it, they won't. So you have two different options for it. So option one, if you do it, you hit that heavy and light attack together, you spin around, every single person who did not block it cops a bleed. If you do a heavy attack first or a light attack first and then do it, it will count as the second part of that chain, and then every single person who blocks it will cop a bleed, but anyone who didn't block it will just take normal damage. And this thing could look really fucking cool. The developers have some really amazing effects in this game to begin with. So just picture it, this guy comes down, slams someone, just fucking spins around, lets the weight of this axe just take him around. And then you can have, after he hits people and they start bleeding, all this blood just comes flying off of them all, and it's just like this circle of blood just goes flying out. It'd be fucking amazing. It'll look cool too. That coupled with the fact the guy literally looks like a fucking demon, that's going to be so good. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Ketsueki mūn, or of course the Blood Moon, which is a lot easier to pronounce for a Greek and Italian guy like myself. I'm really hyped for this guy. There are basically two heroes that I'm hyped for when it comes to what we're getting. That is the Samurai Axe hero. I'm just really curious to see how they actually make this guy play and what he looks like. He looks pretty freaking chunky in the silhouette photo that we got. That's why I went with more of like a massive, heavier armor style. So I'm hoping they actually lean more into that. But he is going to be very interesting. And of course, then there is the Viking hero. I'm so fucking hyped for that guy. I can't wait to crush things with a hammer and cut things with an axe. But we do have one more to go, and that is the Reavyne hero, the massive straight sword guy. I'll be doing a video on him as well at a later date. But the samurai guy is going to be next up, and he's coming out very soon, so I cannot wait to get him. And for those of you who are wondering when he is coming out, by the way, it's like April, May is when it sort of happens. So keep that in mind, it's coming up. But that is the end of the video, guys, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. I love reading and replying to all your comments down below. And feel free to check out my Discord and Twitter. There is a link down below in the description box for both of those as well. The Discord is a great way for me to talk to you guys outside the YouTube comments section. And of course, the Twitter is a great way for you guys to get a notification whenever a video is being uploaded, because YouTube is a bit weird sometimes. And if you like this video and you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you want to support the channel further, feel free to check out my Patreon. There'll be a link down below in the description box, and a link will pop up at the end of the video. And if you choose to donate, it is greatly appreciated. And a big shout out to my current patrons whose names you've been seeing in the background. Just wanted to say thank you for your support. It really does mean a lot. And please share this video around, it does help me out a fuck ton. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.